to throw a bunch of money at MERS, and that is not going to accomplish anything. I have no problem with a stabilization fund to plan for future payments based on actuarials, but to throw dollars at MERS is not going to affect the payment that you're going to have to make in the future, which I believe tops out about $1.2 million at 2020 based on the last actuarial. Which is your biggest challenge? And again, there were some people that ran on, you know, the comment was the budget's a mess. The budget's a mess. Well, let me give you a little history on the reality of the budget. Approximately 6 years ago, the city filed a deficit elimination plan, and Darla can correct me if my timeline's off, but I believe it was for about $34,000. Okay? The end of the last fiscal year, based on my estimation, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, your general fund balance should be about $510,000, give or take, somewhere in that general vicinity. So this idea that the budget's a mess, I don't know where that came from. The reality is our challenge here is the MERS payment. That's the only challenge. That's the overshadowing challenge. And I would submit that if you do not understand MERS, you cannot adequately devise a plan to deal with it. You know, if your only agenda sitting behind that chair or behind that desk is to reduce taxes, you don't need to be there. You have to look at the city as a whole and make decisions based on the information that you have. You cannot just do what everybody tells you to do because you have far more information than anybody else in the city. You need to understand that. This is not, well, contrary to what the education system will tell you, this is not a democracy. This is a representative republic, which means you have you're elected, you get the information, and you make decisions. But it's not majority wins. You need to take the information that you have and make decisions based on that, not what Tom, Dick, and Harry tell you down the street. 1.8 mils. I opposed the 1.8 mils. I voted against it. But the reason was not because we didn't need it. The reason was because I did not like what I perceived as the lack of public process and lack of public involvement in getting to that. Had we had an adequate public process, I would have supported the 1.8 and still support it. A public budget is governed by the rules set forth by Treasury, and you have the one major responsibility of passing a budget. You have people that you've hired that are supposed to deal with the small items. Your responsibility is the big picture. And I question whether you understand the role of the commission as it pertains to the budget. Because it sounds to me like you're paying a person to run the city to provide you a budget, and you're going to second guess every single line item. You have every right to do that, but that's definitely not your role. The city manager is the employee of the commission. You pay her to work for you, to provide you information, and you need to support your city manager. You have an annual evaluation. If you have issues, then discuss them and work with your city manager to get her to do what you want. I'm going to tell you something, that turnaround, that negative 34,000 to positive 510,000, she was part of that. And Darla and I have not always agreed on everything. She will tell you that. But she was part of that. And we did that without laying off a single person. You need to keep that in mind. I won't say this is rocket science, but this does require some intellectual curiosity when it comes to dealing with these budgets. These are hard decisions, and I agree with former Mayor Hunter. If it's not something that you're capable of doing or that you're willing to do, you are going to upset some people. But you need to do the right thing. If you're not capable or willing, step off and let somebody else do it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, on to City Commissioner comments. Commissioner Phelan.
I have nothing.
Commissioner
Nothing.
O'Connor. Commissioner Thompson.
This weekend in, well, actually starting Friday in Escanaba, there's first robotics district competition event. The Brave Bots were going to come and show you their robot tonight, but they couldn't make it. This event is free. Anybody can go watch it. It starts on Friday. The opening ceremony is at 10:30 and the competition begins at 11 a.m. There's about 40 schools that are coming with robots to compete at this event. So there'll be a lot of people over there. It brings a lot of business and a lot of money to town. So it's a great event. I mean, the kids have a good time, and it's something really worth checking out if you got the time to go take a look. That's all I got.
Commissioner Beal.
Thank you. I want to thank Adam Zimmerman for his 4-point thing. I looked through it a little bit. I think it may help us. As far as me sitting on this commission and knowing about budgets and stuff, I'm learning. The main thing is I do still represent the people. And I've had, I just want to know, we need to learn how to make things happen. Have discussions so that the right decisions can be made to achieve the goals of what our city needs to have done for its residents. That's the key. It's the residents that make up the community. And if things ain't going right for them, what do? They move away. And we've seen a lot of that. They don't keep their businesses going. I know the importance of working together with the city leaders, the board, staff, towards the goal of what our citizens would like to see and also are willing to support. If you don't get the support of the citizens, where are we? I mean, people can say anything they want about the decisions we make. I make mine from the heart on what is told to me by the community. And I do take into consideration, when all things are equal, what's good for the best for the common good of the whole city. So I just needed to get that out there, and that's the way I feel. That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, I don't have anything. So, on to city clerk comments.
Just a reminder that the March Border Review is occurring this week. It begins tomorrow from 9 to 3 p.m. Then March 17th from 2 to 5 and 6 to 9. And then March 18th from 9 until noon. That's the March Border Review. And then my only other comment was the election came and went and completed it. Everything went well. As far as the election goes on my end, now that that's done and over, I am preparing for the May election already, and by the end of this week we'll have my first deadline for that one. So put one to bed and open up another one for the May election. So you'll be hearing more about that as I go along. And that's it for now.
All right, now we're back to the city clerk evaluation. Did you want it in open session or closed?
We can do closed session. I don't know if you want to go to the electric department or stay here somewhere. If we stay here, we have to clear out everybody.
Say probably the electric
Department.
All right, well, I know it's a roll call, don't we? Okay, someone want to make a motion to go into an executive session?
I'll move that we go into executive session to evaluate the city clerk.
I support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Hughes, support by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion? All right.
Commissioner Phelan?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Sleeping?
Commissioner View?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Yes.
Mayor Bostwick?
Yes. All right, we'll be back whenever we're done.
In about an hour.